Thank you, Klaus.
Thank you so much. So, screen is visible. Can you?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, perfect. So I can turn down the noise.
Yes.
And welcome everybody to our last webinar for defense. Because in the last sessions before, we started with man-to-man, thinking man-to-man, then switched over to the cooperation in defense. Now we introduced in the last 3 sessions 3 different types of defense systems, 3-1, 5-1, and 6-0. And now finally we come to the presentation, active and variable defense. So in this presentation, active and variable defense, we will find 3 chapters. First one, basic considerations. Second, classification. And the third one, examples for basic games. This is the 3 steps way we always build up our presentation. And in the first, I'm gonna show you a video example in the first step. This is from a game which was played in German Bundesliga 2017 in December. And you can see the 2 top teams at that time. It was first and second place in direct competition. So home team in yellow, Rhein-Neckar Löwen, and blue team, dark blue team, SG Flensburg, in defense now. And this is the scene from the beginning of the match. And finally, we have a successful action here. But when you see the full video, you will see how the players, after they crossed the center line, were taking the positions, specialist coming in now for the wing position. He was exchanged against a specialist for defense. Now you see some position change. You see some easy passing of the ball. Sometimes the players don't move too much. And finally, they score. See it once again. And please take care a little bit, some small elements like bouncing the ball on the spot, bounce passes without any need in that moment, easy circulation, and nothing happens in that moment. So from my point of view, they lose a lot of time. And then finally, with one action, they start. 1, 2, 3 actions or players involved, and the goal shot is made. So, as a different example, see the video from this game. It's final of the European Championship 2018, and you see yellow team in attack, which is Sweden, against Spanish in defense. And you see a different type of defense in that moment. So this defense is much more active, pressurizes the attackers, as you can see here, in the position on the right back. Now player in defense, stepping out, enforcing the player in the backcourt position to move towards the center line. So sinking back again, stepping out again, so feinting a little bit in that way. And the defense is much more open and much more active, especially when in that moment they have a first attempt to intercept the ball, but then help is coming, and a second attempt to intercept the ball finally is successful. So from these 2 examples, you can see on one side the very wide range in defense we have, because in the first you saw a 6-0 defense, only standing at the 6-meter line, only waiting, doing nothing, allowing the attackers to prepare their attack actions like they wanted to. Whereas in this second example, you see an active defense, very, very wide open, very much orientated on intercepting the ball and going to fast break. So in this way, we really can see that defense makes the difference. And this is a very well-known word. It's coming from basketball, I think, but in handball, it's the same, that defense is making the difference. And it's in 4 different aspects. We have to see the meaning of that sentence, defense makes the difference. The first is in a match, because in a match, it's always better to rely on a good defense than on a strong attack. So avoiding opponents' goals or goal shots, intercepting the ball is much easier than constantly score in attack. And if you have a strong defense, your team will get self-confidence, and then it's easier to go to attack. If you always receive one goal after the other and you are under pressure, then in attack you have to score. This is a situation which is not very nice for the team. So the better in defense, the easier to attack during a match. Second aspect is in a championship. So because over a series of, let's say, more than 30 games over a long period of time, it's easier to constantly have a high level of defense compared to a constant high level of attack. So sometimes you can win a game by a good attack performance, but you cannot rely on you will have that for the next week and the next week and the next game in the tournament and so on. So, but if your defense is always strong, you can be successful in a longer row of matches. So always we find on the top of the table as the champions, the teams with good defense, including good goalkeeper. So because if you are safe in that area, you can go to attack easier. Third is in the game structure. The defense is making the difference, as you could see in our 2 video examples, because it's a difference for the attacking team to attack against a close defense at the 6-meter line or an open defense. So ball circulation is much more difficult against an open defense. Moving towards the goal in the constant one-on-one situation is much more difficult for the players in attack. Whereas with a close defense, they can take the positions, they can circulate the ball, they can build up the attack and enforce the defense to react. So in the games, it's really a difference to play as an attacker against open or closed defense. And finally, in the development of our game, because if we look back to the history of handball, we can see that all the changes that were made in the game, they were changes because of new developments in defense. So, for instance, the Yugoslavian 3-1, I explained that already in the 3-1 presentation. It was developed in the early 70s in the last century. Later on, around the 80s, the Russian team came up very strong. They had a 6-0 defense with 4 tall players in the center, very tall, 2 meters plus, basically at the 6-meter line, doing nothing in stepping out, just blocking. But as you can imagine, if there are 4 players so tall, raise their arms, it's really difficult for the team in attack to shoot over them to the goal. Sometimes the players in the backcourt, they didn't see the goal because the players of the defense were in front of them. but this Russian defense was opening the wings. So their strategic idea was to compress the players in attack to the central area. Now in the 90s, we found that Swedish variation of 6-0 defense. The way they defended was opening the central areas, different to the Russian style. New development of defense and attack had to adapt on that. France, with the 5-1 variation, came later on with that very clever, very creative player, Jackson Richardson, as a point defender, who was moving always in a way the players in attack didn't expect it. So he was always ahead of them, one step in front. And this is something which made the whole backcourt players, all three of them, almost crazy. Then the Spanish and the Russian variation of 5-1 and now actually 6-0 defense came up. So always you could see there was a development in handball because of creative coaches. They found new ideas for how to defend, and this made the difference. Attack never changed our game because all the changes in the game that were on attacker side, they didn't come from the coaches, they came from the side of the rules. So for instance, quick throw off at the beginning of that century, it was a change of the rules needed for that. Now, 7 players on the court, taking out the goalkeeper and bring in player number 7. Again, this was the idea of a rule change, or the basis for this was a rule change. It was not possible with the old rules. With the old rules, you could take out the goalkeeper and send in another player, but marked as a goalkeeper. And only this player could rechange against the goalkeeper. So it was tactically not so easy. And then they changed the rules from International Handball Federation so that every player can go out and goalkeeper can return to the goal. This changed the style of the game in a way, but it was not because of coaches' ideas, because it was of a change of the rules. So always the development depends on the rules, on the defense, sorry. Now, if we see how handball is played on international level, and especially in Europe, where it is very strong, we can see some elements which, from my point of view, are really not positive. So this picture is showing some announcement of a game of 2 teams against each other. And I don't know why the organizers of that game found it so attractive to have pictures like this with holding, grabbing, pulling the shirt, and so on. So maybe they wanted to attract some spectators because of the fighting on the court and so on. But from my point of view, I really say this could not be the way to defend. This is something very ugly, very many dirty actions on the court. You can see sometimes in a bad position because defender is behind attacker, sometimes he's coming from the side, never with the intention to intercept the ball. And this is one of the problems handball really has in Europe at the moment, because in the TV transmission, you always see this very hard, this very physical sport or variation of handball, whereas for the younger players, we don't want this. But as you can imagine, always, even the young players, they orientate to what are the top teams doing. That's why, since some years, the International Handball Federation tries to have much more influence on the referees, so that the rules are really followed in a strict way, especially elements of holding without ball, pulling the shirt, pivot area actions. They should be avoided according to the rules. and still we have some bad elements, like if a player is jumping, some pushing in the air, so that he might lose control, and the danger of an injury is very high. And this is not an active defense. This is stupid defense. This is too much physical defense. And this is just the idea to destroy the game, and the idea of that beautiful game of handball. An active and variable defense does not need actions like we see them here. Okay, now we come to that well-known picture of the triangle, which I always interpret as a pyramid, with the 3 levels we have in this. So it's the individual level, it's the cooperation level, and it's the team level. And in these 3 levels, you can see a structure, because as the picture of the pyramid tells us, the wider the base is, the higher you can build up the pyramid. So if you have good individual players in your team, they have a good variability in actions and positions in defense, they can defend in different ways on the ball side and on the help side, the better for your team. Because on this basis, the players can use the different types of cooperation, we already introduced them in a presentation, can work them out very nicely. So to stay, like in man-to-man, to switch, like in zone defense, to help and to double team, depends really on those individual qualities. And the better the individual qualities and the better the cooperation, the more the teams can create variations of different defense systems. Open system, closed system, variation in one system. It all depends on, again, individual and cooperation variations. So that's why we have this picture of the pyramid, and it's very strongly needed to always think back that if you want to change something in your team, you only can do that depending on the individual quality in your from your player side. Then you can change something. Okay. Now switch over to chapter number 2, the classification. This is something we had already in a presentation before. It was the yesterday's ones, but just as a reminder, I will give 2 aspects, and then we will find something new in this presentation or in this chapter. So as you remember, the structuring elements we have traditionally to differentiate between different defense systems is opponent or space orientated. So man-to-man and sinking man-to-man, those are the variations of opponent-orientated defense, whereas the 1-5-3-3 and so on, zone defense systems, they are space-structured variations of defense. As a combination, it's possible to have zone defense combined with the man-to-man defense. So 5-0 plus 1, 4-0 plus 2. These are the variations we have in combination of zone and man-to-man defense. This is the classical way we use the defense systems. Now, I want to introduce a different ranking or a different classification of defense systems to you, starting with defense systems' first rank. In defense systems' first rank, we have opponent-orientated defense, like man-to-man, sinking man-to-man, but we have zone defense systems like 1-5, 3-3, and 3-2-1. And the one aspect which is common for those 2 types of defense is that attacker and defender are always working in the same space, in the same area, depending on basic condition or precondition that attack is working in the one pivot system. As you know, attack normally uses 3 backcourt players, 2 wings, and 1 pivot. But as a variation, teams can attack with 2 pivots, 2 backcourts, and 2 wingers. This is possible. And you can do that from starting of the attack constantly, or you can do that from a transition, from 1 to 2nd pivot system. So maybe wing player is running in, backcourt player is moving to 2nd pivot position. That is possible. It's a tactical way how to move in attack. But as long as the attackers are using the 1 pivot system with a single player in the pivot position, then in a 1-5, in a 3-3, and in a 3-2-1 defense, it's always same attacker and same defender operating and playing in same space. So that's why we have these defense systems is first rank together with the man-to-man, sinking man-to-man, and open zone defense systems in which this is given. And another aspect which is same for these systems is always valid the basic principles in defense. Just in a shortcut, remember them. Basic principles in defense. First of all, find your opponent, personal opponent in the man-to-man, opponent on your position in zone defense. Take the basic position between your opponent and the goal. Very important according to the rules, because you can have contact in that frontal position. If you come from the side, if you come from behind, you're in danger to receive progressive punishment because the defense position is not correct. Referees know that. Third is observe opponent and ball, which in 2 situations is a little bit different because opponent and ball in the one-on-one situation with ball, it's easy to focus on both elements. But if the ball is in another position and it's the one-on-one without, ball possession is with another position in attack, you have to spread your observation as a player in defense. So always a little bit more demanding. And the last one, depending on that observation, help against breaking through attackers in the neighbor position. This depends on the observation and decision making. Now coming to those defense systems is second rank. Some defense systems is with so-called switch, an action which is, or a type of cooperation which is needed in 5-1, 6-0, and 4-2 defense, and something which depends on higher tactical demands. Because in that moment, it depends on the communication between the players in neighboring defense position. So, as you remember here, left back, center back, and right back. These players have the option to move towards the goal in 3 different ways. Straight way, inside move, or outside move for left back and right back, or in the center position, straight move or curved move to the right or to the left goal post. Now, in a situation with left back in ball possession and pivot between half defender and inside defender, for instance, in a 6-0 defense, this is a 2-on-2 situation in that area. And in that situation, depending on the movement of the attacker, the defense must make a decision who is attacking the backcourt player and who is responsible for pivot. So if in that moment, player with ball from the left back position is making an outside move, it's the half defender who is responsible, whereas the defender in the inside position is responsible for the pivot. If backcourt player is moving inside defender responsible for backcourt, and half defender has to take care for the pivot. So this is the switch, and these are the higher tactical demands, especially when you see that the position of the pivot can be here and can be here. So for all 3 attackers and for all 4 defenders, this type of combination or tactical decision making is needed. So in that moment, we have this really higher tactical demands in those types of defense. And there is something else we want to have in these types of defense, first and second rank. We want to have a numerical superiority on the ball side. And this is something which helps the defense, because with that numerical superiority on the ball side, defense can decrease the space. And smaller space is always easier to defend for the players in defense. So if, for instance, in a defense system like 3-2-1 with libero, the center defender is always on the ball side. He's an additional player there. He's taking care, ready for the help. So he is the libero, the free player in the defense. But this can only be achieved if the defense accepts numerical minority on the help side of the defense. So as we can see in the picture, if the ball is with the left back position, the wing defender on that side must step out to give pressure to 2 players. So on one side, pressurizing the right back player who cannot start his movement forward like he wants to. On the other side, take care for the wing attacker. If the long pass is coming, wing defender must run there. So solving this 1-on-2 situation is some additional element we have in different types of defense systems. The players do that in an offensive, but in an opponent-orientated way. And you can do that in a 3-2-1. You can do that in a 5-1. You can do that in a 6-0. You can do that, or you should do that even in a 4-2. So in all well-known defense systems is first and second rank. This movement from the help side, from the wing defender on the help side, is something really helpful. As we said yesterday, you can do it, but you mustn't do it. So if you do that on that side, on one side, it's okay. If you do it on the second side, it's okay too. If you want to prefer only one side because that defender is able to do that, just do it and don't do it on the other side. It's an add-on, like we say. Okay, now coming to something new. We had already defense systems is first rank. We had defense systems is second rank. And now I want to introduce to you defense systems is third rank. So in this moment, we have the difference to all those other defense systems is because there are open defenders not positioned to according to one player in attack, but they are positioned in the gaps between 2 attackers. So typical defense systems is for this is the 5-1 from Russia from 1988, the 4-1-1 defense, and the so-called 3-2-1 trap defense. So these are special types of defense systems. We will introduce them now, and you can see how they work. And the special element in this is that we have a very special conduct, a very special type of action and movement of the defender in the second line. First line is always between 6 and 9 meters, but second line is the one who is defending outside 9 meters. And for those players, special movements and special activities, special ways of behavior are prescribed. And we have a little bit new basic principles in defense for those defense systems is third rank. So let's go into detail and let's see what is the special in those types of defense. The first one is the 5-1 from Russia, 1988. This was a defense system which at this moment was really new to the world of handball. In 1988, the Russians came to the Olympic Games in Korea, Seoul, and they took the Olympic title with this type of defense. As you can see in the picture, it's a 5-1 with 5 players, basically orientated and positioned in the area between 6 and 9 meters, but 1 player outside. But this player is not orientated with the center back player and not orientated in the position between left back and goal. He is taking the position in the gap between left back and center back. And this is the basic idea in this defense, that the player in the gap should cut the connection between those 2 players, center back and left back. That's something very effective for the defense because, first of all, this normally is the playmaker, the brain of the team. And very often in left back position, you have a strong shooter. So if a defense is able to cut the connection between those 2 players, this is really, really helpful for the defense. Now, in that moment, this player, the point defender in that 5-1 from Russia, was responsible to fight a little bit or play a little bit against center back and left back. But from this position, coming from the side, not in a frontal position, he had to be very, very careful with getting in contact. So it was not a fighting with that player, it was more or less steering and guiding this player into special situations, certain areas which the defense wanted to have them in. So if the ball was with the left back player, it was obvious that the defender must cut the passing connection with the center back and enforce this player, give him invitation to move in that area. So then he was moving straight or more to the outside. Half defender was taking a defensive position to block. Center defender was taking over pivot. And then in this area, there was a 3 against 2, 1 player plus for the defense. And the situation to shoot from that angle, from backcourt, and against a tall player who was blocking, and a goalkeeper who was in combination, taking care for the short corner. This was not an easy situation for the left back player to solve. He could only pass in a good way with the left wing, so the ball circulation without interruption or with speed was only possible with these 2 positions. If the ball was easily passed to center back, then the player in this position had to do the same with the center back, guide him towards the right goalpost, push him in that area. So a switch was needed in that moment between the 2 players here, because now center defender was responsible, but in a defensive position for center back player. Half defender must come around and cover the pivot. And then the space was reduced because this player was moving here, point defender, and push the attack to the right side. In addition, to make it more complicated for the players in attack, defense could cut the wing in that moment with an open defending. So again, only 2 players can circulate the ball and try to create pressure from their movement, but never straight, always in that area to decrease the space. So this was the basic idea in that moment of that 5-1, with a very clever player here. The Russians, they had 2 of them. Tyumentsev and Sviridenko were the names of that players. Tall, quite agile, but very clever-minded, because they always knew how much pressure they could give to left back and to center back without receiving a punishment in that moment. So it was a little bit of trapping the attackers, because left back here or center back here, they were pushed into areas they could not solve the situations in a good way. Very successful was that defense when they used the system with the point defender on that side. Because if the stronger backcourt was the right back player, left-hander normally, they could push him to the outside move, moving to the weaker side, and center back, right-handed player, move again to the left goalpost, again to his weaker side. This was always perfect to attack from that side where the attacker is preferring to move to. Unfortunately, I don't have video from that time, so I cannot show you how this was working. But as I said before, it was really successful. The Russian team, they surprised all the opponents in that tournament and became Olympic champion. Now, the second defense system of a third rank is the so-called 4-1-1. And as you can see from the name we give, it's a zone defense, but in 3 lines. So the picture you can see here shows, again, 4 players, basically positioned between 6 and 9 meters, and then 2 players in front of them, but not beside each other, one between or closer to the center line, more open against the center back, and the second one behind. So that's why it is not 4-2, it's 4-1 and another one. So this is the name and the explanation of that defense. And from the blue arrows, you can see the special effect given in that defense, because it's the point defender number 2. This is, we call him point defender number 1, and this is point defender number 2. This is the one to move to the right and to the left side of the defense and to take a position in the gap. So again, if the ball is with left back, he's using this position in the gap. If the ball is with the right back, he's taking this position in the gap between center back and right back. And always the strategy here is similar, like we saw it before in the 5-1 from Russia. Always guide and try to make the player in backcourt to move to that area here. Always to the sideline. Never let him inside. Close the center. As the defender, you always win inside, and you will push them to the outside space, which is not very attractive for shooting. This depends on a little bit more of running of this player here, as you can see from the arrows. So that's why we need this point defender number 1 to push center player of the opponent's team more to the center line and to reduce the speed of the ball circulation. So the slower the ball is circulated, the easier for point defender number 2 to always establish the position in the right way. So if the ball is circulated very fast, it's a big problem for this player here. Another element is, in that moment, open defending in the wing position on the help side. So if the ball is passed from center to left back and the player in defense is moving here, point defender number 2, then again we have numerical superiority on the ball side. This can only be possible if the player in the wing position is then taking that position here, pressurizing right back and make him or threatening him not to run in here, and hopefully wing player will not run in too. If left back is in ball possession and pressured from the point defender number 2, he must go in that area. Inside defender will come for a defensive block. Inside defender from the other side will take over a pivot. So in that way, it's easy how the defense is solving that situation. If the ball is circulated on the other way, it's the same here. Now this inside defender taking the position here, and inside defender from the help side taking care for the pivot. Okay. This type of defense can be seen in the video. So just have a look how it is working. So all the scenes will be repeated once, so you can see it, and then we can make a stop motion and explain what happens. Okay, so see it from the beginning. Now you can see the different positions. Point defender number 1, try to pressurize center back to go back. Point defender number 2, working in that area. This is a very nice area. It's the same. We see the help side wing defender here. It's the area between the 3 seconds line and the 3-point line of basketball. So this is the area we never want the attackers to move inside. Always keep this area clean and free of attackers with the ball. So now you can see ball is on the other side. No inside move. Okay. After execution of the free throw, ball is circulated to the other side, and the whole defense is moving. And again, inside defender, defensive position, point defender number 2, close the way to the center, inside defender here with the pivot, and wing defender on the help side open. And so this is the trap we want to have. 3 against 2 on the ball side in very small, unattractive area for the players in attack. So they cannot come out. Always go here, easily control the situation. Normally you don't need to make a foul in that moment because attack cannot solve the situation. On the other side, now almost they beat the defense, but then they made a bad decision. And this is something which is very typical for this defense, because sometimes you see very open space and you say, ooh, how can that be? It's so easy, run in or go through. But please try to make a step on the court. Try to see what the players see here. This very moving, very active defense. It's not so easy on the court to realize the situation, because it's always changing, always something new. Everyone is moving, everyone is fighting in the defense. So it's not so easy to read, anticipate, and anticipate from the attacker side what will happen from the defense side in the next moment. And this is the basic idea of these active types of defense. It's to force the opponent's team into free play. So no tactical moves, no tactical systems are played against that type of defense. Transition is really not a good idea, because if one is running in for second pivot, it's easy for the defense, because in that moment, 2 inside defenders, 1 for each pivot, two defenders, point defender 1 and 2, taking over or attaching to the two backcourt players that are left. Thank you, that's it. No more running, just man-to-man. So it's easy in that moment for the defense to force the attackers into free play. And this is the situation when they always have to make decisions, when they always have to observe and react on what the defense is doing to them. And this enforces a lot of bad decisions and mistakes. So really in that moment, we can say this is a gambling defense. Defense is doing things to the offense, acting and not waiting for what is the attack and the offense doing to them. So in that way, it's a really active defense system we see here. So as you can see, they're running like crazy, but they are always one step ahead. And I like this type of defense very much because it changes the character of the game. So once again, small area, defense established the position, simple foul, you might say, no harsh action, very easy, try to intercept the ball, throw in or free throw, okay, no problem, and defense always there, always no chance for attackers to come to a normal situation to finalize the attack. This is what we don't want. Okay, now we have another variation and another example for a defense system third rank. It's the so-called 3-2-1 trap defense. In this 3-2-1 trap defense, we have the positions named like in a 3-2-1. So we have three players, the wing on one and on the other side defender, and the center defender against the pivot, basically positioning. We have one outside 9-meter point defender, like in a normal 3-2-1, always outside. And we have the two half defenders, half right and half left defender, moving up and down, like in a 3-2-1, but the other way around, because moving to a defensive position on the ball side and moving to an open position on the help side. So in that moment, just to explain it in that picture, we see the ball possession with the left back player. And if left back player is in ball possession, point defender is moving to the gap. Again, you see the red line, and close the inside way, guide this player and enforce him to move to that area again. And it's again one player plus on the ball side. Defense player in half defending position, basically positioned at the 6-meter line in cooperation with the goalkeeper, blocking the shot from this position, which is really not very attractive for the players in left back position because they prefer to go inside. But at the same moment, when the point defender has established his position here, in the same moment, half defender from the help side is coming up and taking a position in the gap between center back and right back player. So then we have two players in the gaps, and wing defender must move at the 6-meter line to the ball side to decrease the space. Open positioning here, first of all, it's not needed. Second, it's a danger that wing defender will run in, a wing attacker will run in. So in that moment, a 6-meter line position is really okay, but to the ball side move. Now, in that way, it's really difficult for left back to solve that situation. Inside move is not possible because point defender is here. Straight move, shooting, not so nice. Running in from center back position, might be possible, but immediately this can be covered from half defender from the other side. Running in from player in right back position, open space given here, looks possible on the screen, but be aware that this player is now running into the shadow of two defenders. Two players are here, and under pressure, left back has to bring the ball here through that corridor to the player who is running here, and still wing defender can take a position between opponent and goal. So believe me, it's not so easy to solve this situation. Now, by the time the ball is circulated to the other side, the whole defense moves in that way that half defender is sinking back to a 6-meter position. Point defender is moving to the gap on the other side if right back is in ball possession, and half defender from that side is stepping out, taking the position in the gap between left back and center back. So this is the trap defense, because this left back player is really trapped in that area, and the basic idea of the defense is to close that area and never let them out, not with a quick ball circulation, maximum with a very slow ball circulation to bring the ball to the other side, which gives enough time for the defense to move to the new ball side. So, some years ago, I had been to Japan, and I was working with the Japanese national lady team in a training session, and we worked out how to move in that way. And this is the video you can see from that after the training session with the Japanese lady national team. And you can see how these basic elements of the trap defense were worked out. So there will be a stop motion, and then we can explain. So this is the situation we want to have. Center defender with the pivot. Half defender, basic position to block. Point defender here could be a little bit more in the gap between left and center back. Half defender on the other side in the gap between center and right back. Wing defender now open. This is what I said before. This is more or less a mistake, because now wing can use this area to run in. So the better position should be here to be in a position that the wing cannot run in behind, but must run in front, and then it's easier to control and easier to see. But from that positioning, you can see small space and easy to control the situation for the players in defense. So once again, circulation of the ball, and here we've got them. Always guide them to the outside. Now the example. And now the trap is here. And you can see center defender now with a pivot on the other side, but still left wing, left back is here. 3 against 2 on the ball side, half defender from the other side open, so easy to control, and no more options for the players in attack. So just wait for the stop motion again, and then you can see it. This is the moment we want to have them in, and then on the ball side, 1 player plus for defense, and very difficult for the players in attack to move the ball to the help side. And it's so nice to see how agile those players are, even after a strong training session, fainting a little bit, coming up, orientating, going back, fainting out, coming here, going back, always pressurize the attackers so that they never know what will happen in the next moment. So once again, waiting a little bit. Now the trap is coming. Okay, we go back, and now feinting to that side here, out. Now must go back, but again in the gap. It's a little bit late to return, but you see they cannot find the solution. And finally we have this situation on that side, perfect, because again, ball in that area, number of players from defense is very good, and only a long pass to the other side is possible now. So this gives the defense the time to move to the new ball side, and here we are. So you can see in that moment how this defense systems third rank are running. And there are some different elements in that. The first is we have a much higher level of activity for all players. You cannot sleep. You cannot sleep on the ball side, and you cannot sleep on the help side. Everyone must be active. Second is that intentionally the team in defense tries to create one player plus on the ball side, accepting the 1-on-2 situation on the help side, but it's really the intention to decrease the space of the attackers with one player plus on the ball side. Third is the so-called gambling defense. Always try to pressurize the players in attack, always try to work in a way that they cannot work or play like they want to, enforce them to react and enforce them into the free play. This would be perfect, because then they cannot use their basic movements they like. They cannot use their attack combinations like they prepared in training. So then they have to use the free play, and the quality and the success and the efficiency of their attack is going down. Okay. Now, coming back to our pyramid, please keep in mind that all those ways of defending in a team system, they depend on individual qualities. And this is what we see in this training examples here. So if we want to work out the variability in defense systems, we rely on and we depend on quality or variability in individual defending. And in this drill here, you see some very basic move or basic drill in one-on-one situations of left and right wing against the attacker. Now, this is open defending on the ball side and return to a basic position at 6 meters on the help side. So you can see fighting a little bit. Okay, it's boys in that age, they do it. But what we want now is, if the ball is with the left back player, it's almost or should be impossible to pass the ball to the wing. So normally player in defense has to cut that pass. So, and try to make him move outside. If the ball is circulated to the other side, same is here. Try to make him crazy and push him always to the outside move. So in that way, the defense is up on the ball side and down on the help side. Now, very important in this drill is the circulation of the ball in the backward positions. The faster the ball is circulated from one to the other side, the faster the players in defense must react. So observation of ball and opponent is still needed in this way of defending, especially by the time the players in attack are using variations in their passing. So in the first step, we can introduce the ball circulation only, left back, right back, center back, and the other way. But later on, we can allow passing variations. For instance, a long distance pass from one to the other side, from right to left back or vice versa. A long distance pass from center back directly to the wing, or from right or left back to the wing player on the other side. And the more the passing variations are free, the more work for the players in defense. This follows our one of our instructions we had in the beginning of that sessions. It's attack teaches defense. So more options for attacker result in more reactions from the defense side. So please always keep this in mind when you build up your training, that now special passing is more demanding for the players in defense. Second example shows the movement or the behavior of the defense just the other way around. Now they defend in the wing position on the ball side with a basic position at the 6-meter line, allow the pass from right back here to the right wing player and allow the one-on-one move, basically never inside, always try to make him outside to the gap between defense and goal line or a baseline of the court, so that the angle to the goal is not okay. Whereas on the help side of the defense, as you can see here, the defender is in an open position, pressurizing now left back, but still responsible for left wing. So if the long pass is coming, must run back and fight against him. So, and this is the change of the type of defense we have. In the first example, ball side up, help side down. Now it's ball side down, but help side up. So, and in this way, we create variability for the players in defense, but we create different situations for the players in attack too. So this is very helpful because it teaches our players in the attack positions to adapt to what the defense is doing to them and to react in a quick way. Okay, the next one is now for the half positions. Now these are basic moves, we know them from 3-1 defense. The situation we have here is right back against half left defender, and same on the other side. But in each area, which is defined with the two cones here, we have a pivot. But this pivot cannot score if the ball is coming from the backcourt or from the wing player from that side. He can give support to the backcourt player by setting an inside or an outside screen. This is in general possible, but he cannot score. But the player in the wing position, in the pivot position on the other side, he can score. So a pass from right back to pivot on the left side is possible, and this is a situation which can result in a goal shot. This means that the half defender on the other side is enforced to move back to the 6-meter line and cover pivot. Don't give him a chance to get an advantage in positioning. So in that moment, he sinks back to 6-meter line. If the ball is circulated to the backcourt player, then he must step out. So this is the try for the screen. Now, ball with the pivot. This is possible because ball is coming from the other side. And you see, ball circulation and try to break through. Pass is possible, but cannot shoot, must forward the ball. Okay, and now use the screen or not, and again here. Defense open, that's nice, very good, and intercepting on the other side. Very well defended. So the defense on one side has to move out and back. The other side has to observe the ball, especially if the ball is coming from the other side, has to take care for the pivot player on the help side, and has to move around the screens on the ball side. So there's really a lot of work for defense in that moment, but a lot of opportunities and decisions to make from the players in the backward position too. Okay, just the other way around, like before with the wings. Now we see a situation 3 against 2. It's left back, center back, and right back. They have to play against 2 defenders only. But you see, space is reduced. Right and left side, we have a cone. It's more or less the size of a basketball court. And the special rule for the players in attack here is they have to shoot from outside 9 meters. So they are not allowed to enter the 9 meter area. We always say 9 meters is like 6 meters normally. Now the defense with only 2 players, they have to try to avoid the shoot from outside 9. But the movement, the pattern of the movement of the defense is ball side down, help side up. So now you see the player against left back in ball possession, sinking back, blocking in a defensive way. But the help side defender stepping out, pressurizing the player in the center back position. By the time the ball is circulated now to the other side, it's just the other way around. Coming from the open position now to basic position for blocking on the new ball side, but from basic position 6 meters to open position outside 9 on the help side. So this is the defense way now. And again, they have to fight and to run. But as you can see, those 2 boys, they really love the way to play. And they can feint. They can put some stress to the attackers. And finally, they can enforce them to take a shoot from a position which is not attractive for them. Sink back, step out, feint, go back. And then goalkeeper must save. Okay, so you see, this is really a gambling defense in that moment. Doing things to the offense they don't expect. And catch it. Okay. Now finally, we can put this together in a 2-on-2 situation on the right and the left side. So in that moment, we have left back and left wing, right back and right wing against 2 defenders who are working in a variable way. So like in this example here, stepping out and pressurizing the wing enforces the player in the backward position to use that gap, and now cannot continue, must pass. Normally, in a game situation, this is a perfect moment for a defender here to intercept that pass, which is coming to the center back position. And you see another interception here. So, very clever, very flexible. Okay, sometimes making mistakes. This is the normal situation. So, but always read the situation enforce them to act and to anticipate what will happen next. And the more they have to anticipate, the more they learn. From reacting, they don't learn so much. So this is why I like this style of active defense. And the more the players develop the skills in that two positions, wing and half defender positions, the more variations you can ask them to do or to work out in defense systems you use in the 6-on-6 normal competition. Okay. Now, this was the end of that presentation, and I hope that you could get the basic idea of this defense systems third rank. Maybe a little bit something new and a little bit strange in the first moment, but please try, because your players can learn a lot from that, and that you could see how in the training session we try to work out the individual skills for that. Okay, closing the presentation and waiting for the chat. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so the question is 4-1-1, help side wing defender is in open position. If help side wing attacker moves inside, no problem, because there's only one pivot, but there are two inside defenders. If the wing defender is running in, let him run. He is coming to one of those two inside defenders. Then it's one-on-one, thank you. And the wing defender step out and pressurize the backcourt player, no problem. For teaching skills, a lot of time. 50% of your training you should invest to teach your players defense, because that's logical. It's not a joke. 50% of the time in competition, you are in defense. 50% attack, 50% defense. So then 50% of your training time should be defense too, and 50% attack. But if you come back to what you saw in the last chapter, these games or game situations, one-on-one in the wing, one-on-one in the halfback, two-on-two on the side, right and left, you cannot say no problem, both sides. If we make a training situation, if we build up a training situation like that, it's always useful for attackers and defenders. And then it's not only defense or not only attack training. Okay, how to neutralize the Kemper trick? No. They must show. No. You saw the exercises. Okay, which type of defense should apply in one man less? This is part of our presentation, which is coming at the end of this session. Special exercise, switch over. I don't know what switch. Okay, attackers more active than defenders. What type of defense will you suggest? Sorry, I don't understand this question properly. If attackers are more active than defenders, because it should be the other way around. I say defenders should be more active than attackers, because the more active part of the game will win. You cannot have defenders who are only waiting, give the steps and the initiative to the players in attack and hope that your defense will succeed on that. Wing running in, we had this already. Best time to use full time or time to time. Okay. In general, this depends on the game situation. Sometimes you use this active defense at the end of the game to turn the game as a risk variation we said before. On the other side, sometimes you can do this just from the beginning to surprise the opponent, and after 10 minutes, go back. Sometimes you can use this after a team timeout, because if you play normal defense, opponent's team is taking team timeout. They have some ideas what they want to do. And then you say, okay, I don't give you the chance to play like you want. I change defense and completely destroy the plan you've introduced to your players in the team timeout. So there are different times you can use the active defense. It depends on the strategy of how the competition is running, no problem. Okay. Preconditions always for the 3-2-1, at least in the half defending position, 2 players with a very good fighting spirit, very agile, very quick, in the players which are taking position in the gap. Running skills are very important too. Good feeling for space and orientation in space, and good feeling to read the game. Okay, is out of the game for 2 minutes? No, no. Okay. Important points to keep in mind while teaching various different systems. Wing running, we had this already. Okay. Okay, so thank you for all your questions. I hope that everybody is satisfied with that, and we can return to Mr. Mahinda.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Klaus. You have explained in such a way that our coaches must have understood. Now they become familiar to you. They have familiar to you because they understood your English and the way you are explaining. I think now there will be no problem for us. So very nicely, very slowly through the diagrams, you are elaborating your topic, and our coaches are gaining much and much. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry for my bad German English.
No, but I think our executive director would like to say something, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Klaus. It's not bad English. It is perfect with slow pace and moving with the slides, and all what you're trying to explain is perfectly coordinated. So it's very easy to understand what you're saying. That's what I felt. And most of the coaches are also getting the points, what you are explaining it on your slide. So don't worry about your English. We are getting it quite okay.
Thank you.
I have got a small question from you on behalf of all young coaches, where we have to prepare or maybe select the handball players at the young age. What we have seen in all your defense, active defense, offense, we feel that yes, the player is supposed to be very agile. He is to be very smart, a lot of brains, quick movement, coordination between the team, and also he should be ensuring that he is getting a space where he can have a clear view on the goal posts. Most of the time you are ensuring that he gets blocked down to a place where he can be outsmarted by more defense or outnumbered, but still you are asking him to come somewhere in the front of goal. You are avoiding wing. So the important factor that what kind of grassroots players we must select, so that apart from all these qualities, one quality of height which we feel that is very important to stop the attacker to attempt in the place where you have already guided them or outnumbered. Also, I feel that even in defense, a person with a height, a suitable height, is more advantageous than the other player. I will not emphasize more on height because all those factors of coordination, agility, moving, and uh, adjusting the defense, that what we have seen in all our moves. So I want, what are your recommendation to have uh, in height? Because coaches as grassroots level would like to know, should we have an athlete, a player with minimum 6 feet, 6.5 feet, or slightly more than that? Can you comment on this?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. So, in general, I want to say something which is coming a little bit from the German point of view, yeah? But I think in India it's not so much different to that. For sure, it would be good if we could select player, and this player, and then it would be nice to have a big choice which players to select. To be honest, in Germany we don't have that because we are fighting for the young players to come to the clubs because they go to football, basketball, track and field, swimming, triathlon, badminton, blah, blah, all those sports. So we are happy for everyone we can have in the handball. And then we have to work with those players. Okay, in some situations or for some young guys, it's predictable. So for instance, if you see a boy quite thin, you see mother and father quite tall, then from his appearance, you can imagine that this will be a tall person at the end of his growing process. But sometimes you never know, you cannot be sure how tall this player will be at the end. So selecting in early ages sometimes gives the risk that you make a wrong decision because you accept or expect something which finally is not coming true. In German Federation, we have the problem too, that always the coaches, they focus on the height and maybe the strength too. So on one side, okay, handball now is a big men's game in international competition for sure. But on the other side, all those other factors, coordination, speed, intelligence, experience, anticipation, they are very, very important. And even in top international teams, you can always see players which are not so tall, but from their technical skills, from their decision making, very, very good players in attack and defense too. So for instance, from that, what I prescribed as a problem in German handball, only focusing on tall players, we have in Germany now, since long time, we have a lack of good players in center back position. Because center back position, normally you don't need a very tall player. Other nations now, like Slovenia, like Netherlands, like Portugal, they have players quite short, shorter than all German players, but much more agile and much more better in their individual skills. So focusing on the preconditions the players have and try to select on that preconditions, from that preconditions is one thing. But on the other side, take the players and develop them is the other thing. And I think coaches in India should do it in that second way. Don't say, oh, you're not tall enough, I cannot take you for this position or that. Give each player the chance to develop. Teach them in a right way, develop them in a correct way. And finally, you can see maybe a player with, you might say, insufficient preconditions at the end is stronger and more effective and better than another one. For sure, handball is a game with now lot athletes or strong athletes, tall and strong. But this is not the only way to succeed.
Thank you. Very good explanations. I think all those coaches who are working at grassroots level, it is amply clear that what Mr. Claus is trying to explain, all qualities for a handball player is elaborated very well. It is not only tall players. Yes, definitely there's an advantage of tall player that is to be seen, but other factors are also very important in handballs. Thank you, Mr. Claus.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, Mr. Klaus. So now we will brief this in Hindi. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Now it was very.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So for Indian coaches, अब हम इसको थोड़ा सा हिंदी में बात करेंगे हमारे हैरी सर भी. Before that, I would like to say one thing. So as जो ईडी सर ने बोला है या क्लाउस ने बोला है कि जो प्लेयर की सिलेक्शन है, कई बार हम छोटे प्लेयर को नहीं सिलेक्ट करते, लंबा प्लेयर लेना है. अब उन्होंने बोला कि अगर वो क्वालिटी उसमें है तो वी विल सिलेक्ट, वी विल डेवलप हिज फिजिकल एबिलिटी, टेक्निकल लेवल, इंटेलिजेंसी थ्रू माइनर गेम्स, रिक्रिएशन गेम्स, अदर गेम्स विद सम रूल्स. सो ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई हमारे पास आ रहा है तो हम उसको भगा दें. So it is very good information from Mr. Klaus that we have to appreciate, let them come. If they are not enhancing this performance, then we can weed out. So now I would like to request Mr. Harinder Pal to brief in Hindi.
Thank you, Mahinder. तो आज का हमारा जो सेशन था वो एक्टिव और वेरिएबल डिफेंस के ऊपर था. तो एक्टिव डिफेंस से है कि आप एक्टिव कब होते हैं. तो क्लॉस ने ये बताया कि गेम के शुरू से ही आप एक्टिव रहिए. जितना आप एक्टिव रहेंगे और जितना आप वेरिएशन के साथ डिफेंस को कर सकते हैं, उतना अटैकर्स को हर समय तकलीफ होगी अटैक में. अगर आप एक्टिव डिफेंस नहीं करते हैं तो आप अटैकर को कोई प्रेशर नहीं देते, उसको फोर्स नहीं करते, वो अपनी मर्जी से बॉल को बाउंस करता है, बड़ी इजी ढंग से वो सर्कुलेट करता है. क्यों? क्योंकि आपका प्रेशर नहीं है, आप एक्टिव नहीं है, आप एक जोन को पकड़कर खेल रहे हैं, डिफेंस कर रहे हैं. तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो डिफेंस है वो हर समय एक्टिव होना चाहिए. राइट फ्रॉम द बिगनिंग, गेम की शुरुआत से ही आप एक्टिव रहिए. उसका नतीजा ये है कि जब आप प्रेशर डालेंगे तो अटैकर्स कहीं ना कहीं गलती करेंगे. आप एज अ डिफेंडर इंटरसेप्ट कर सकते हैं बॉल को और आप फास्ट ब्रेक लगा सकते हैं. ये उन्होंने शुरू के उदाहरण में बताया. उसके बाद उन्होंने बताया कि मैच के दौरान अगर आपका डिफेंस अच्छा है, स्ट्रॉन्ग है, तो वहां पर आपको अटैक में आसानी होगी. तो कहने का मतलब है अगर आप गोल खाते जाएंगे तो आपको अटैक के अंदर भी बड़ी मुश्किल से गोल करने को मिलेगा. बट अगर आप स्ट्रॉन्ग डिफेंस रखते हैं, बहुत अच्छी तरह से और अग्रेसिव रहते हैं, तो वहां पर आपके प्लेयर्स को आसानी रहेगी और रिलैक्स्ड ढंग से खेलेंगे. और दूसरा उन्होंने बताया कि जो डिफेंस है उसके पास बहुत सारी वेरिएशंस हैं डिफेंस में करने के लिए. अटैकर्स के पास इतनी सारी वेरिएशंस नहीं हैं और जब जब रूल चेंज होते हैं तो चेंज के मुताबिक जो है अटैक का प्ले जो चलता है वो होता है. पर डिफेंस जो है वहां पर भी अपनी जो डिफेंस की क्रिया है या एक्टिवनेस है उसको बरकरार रख सकता है. उन्होंने काफी उदाहरण दिए यूगोस्लाविया से, रशिया से, स्वीडन से, फ्रांस से, स्पेन से, कि वो किस किस तरह के डिफेंस जो है वेरिएट करते हैं. तो किसी में 3-2-1 है, 6-0 है, 6-0 है, 5-1 है. तो इन को 1988 से उसने बताया था अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसके पास कैसेट नहीं है, बट हमारे पास है 88 की, तो हम उसमें से आपको क्लिपिंग भेज सकते हैं। तो दूसरा है कि स्ट्रक्चर एलिमेंट्स के अंदर उन्होंने बताया कि जो ओपोनेंट है उसको देखकर खेला जाए, और जब आप एडवांस खेल रहे हैं तो स्पेस को देखकर खेला जाए। जब आप स्पेस ओरिएंटेशन में खेलते हैं तो वहां पर एक स्ट्रक्चर होता है मैन टू मैन। क्यों? क्योंकि आप भी उसी जगह पर हैं और अटैकर भी उसी जगह पर हैं, और वहां पर मैन टू मैन खेला जा सकता है और सिंकिंग मैन टू मैन खेला जा सकता है। तो उन डिफेंस के जो उदाहरण हैं वो कौन कौन से ऐसे डिफेंस है, वो है 1-5, 3-3 है, 3-2-1 है। तो इनके अंदर आप खेल सकते हैं, ठीक है। और दूसरा उन्होंने बताया था रैंक के अंदर, तो रैंक 1 के अंदर जहां पर ओपोनेंट ओरिएंटेड है, ओपोनेंट मींस अटैकर को देखकर हर समय अटैकर के साथ जो है मैन टू मैन के तरीके से खेलना, वो कौन से डिफेंस है, वो 1-5, 3-3 और 3-2-1 है, ठीक है। जिसके अंदर अटैकर और जो डिफेंडर होता है वो एक ही स्पेस के अंदर होता है और खेलता है, और प्रेशर जो है वो डिफेंसिव प्लेयर देता है स्टार्ट से ही। बट उन्होंने बताया कि जब हम इन सारी चीजों को करते हैं तो हमें बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स जो होते हैं डिफेंस के, उनको भी ध्यान में रखना चाहिए कि कौन मेरा ओपोनेंट है, मेरी बेसिक पोजीशन सही है कि नहीं है, मैं गोल के और ओपोनेंट के बीच में हूँ, मैं बॉल और ओपोनेंट दोनों को ध्यान में रख रहा हूँ कि नहीं। तो ये सारी चीजें आपको भी ध्यान रखनी है। दूसरा जो सिस्टम उन्होंने रैंक 2 का बताया वो था सिस्टम विद स्विच। स्विच का मतलब है जहां पर जोन के अंदर ज्यादा खेला जाता है, तो वो सिस्टम 5-1, 6-2 और 6-0 और 4-2 है। तो इसके अंदर जो है डिमांड्स जो हैं प्लेयर्स की, आपकी इंडिविजुअल कैरेक्टर्स तो हैं जो डिमांड के अंदर आते हैं, साथ में ही आपके जो हायर टेक्टिकल डिमांड्स हैं कि आप क्या करना चाहते हैं जब बॉल एक तरफ है या आपके सामने प्लेयर के सामने है या दूसरी तरफ है, तो वो चीजें हैं। तो यहाँ पर भी आपके जो प्रिंसिपल्स हैं वो भी लागू होंगे, प्लस आपकी जो टेक्टिकल नॉलेज है उसके ऊपर भी डिपेंड किया जाता है, उसको भी ध्यान में रखा जाता है। फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने एग्जाम्पल 3 दिया, रैंक 3 डिफेंस सिस्टम के अंदर, जिसके अंदर ऑफेंसिव डिफेंडर्स जो हैं वो गैप्स के अंदर मूव करते हैं। उन्होंने उदाहरण भी दिया था, तो उसके अंदर उन्होंने 4-1-1, 4 जोन के अंदर, एक 9 मीटर से ऊपर और एक उससे भी ऊपर डिफेंसिव प्लेयर बताया है, 4-1-1। तो उसके अंदर उन्होंने बताया कि जो आगे के डिफेंडर्स हैं जो 9 मीटर के बाहर हैं उनका रोल क्या है। तो वो हाफ, एक तो जो फॉरवर्ड डिफेंडर ऊपर है वो सेंटर बैक के पास चलता है, और दूसरा जो उसके पीछे होता है वो जिस तरफ को भी बॉल चलती है, ये लेफ्ट बैक के पास है या राइट बैक के पास है, उस तरफ को वो मूव करता है। तो इस तरह से उन्होंने डिफेंस को बताया है कि ये ऐसे डिफेंस हम कर सकते हैं, बट डिमांड्स जो है उसका ध्यान रखा जाता है कि प्लेयर्स की एबिलिटी क्या है। फिर उन्होंने हमें उदाहरण दिए, तो वो पिक्चर्स के अंदर उदाहरण दिए, फुल दिए। तो अब जब हम ट्रेन करते हैं बच्चों को तो इस बात का ध्यान रखना कि हम सीधा एक सिस्टम को खड़े करके, जैसे 6 प्लेयर्स को खड़े करके हम अटैकर्स को खड़े करके चला देते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है। आप पोजीशन वाइज विंग्स को अलग ट्रेन कीजिए, उसके बाद हाफ डिफेंडर्स को जो उनके साथ होते हैं बैक के सामने उनको ट्रेन कीजिए, फिर उसके बाद जो सेंटर बैक है उनको ट्रेन कीजिए, और फिर लास्ट में होल टीम के ऊपर आइए। तो वो पार्ट बाय पार्ट जो एग्जांपल्स थे वो बहुत अच्छे थे, वो आपको समझ में आना चाहिए। बॉल साइड कौन मूव करेगा, हेल्प साइड कौन मूव करेगा, हर प्लेयर का रोल क्या था डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस के अंदर। तो इससे इंडिविजुअल कैरेक्टर्स जो हैं वो बिल्डअप होते हैं और साथ में कॉपरेशन बिल्डअप होता है, ठीक है। सो दिस इज लास्ट पार्ट। थैंक यू फॉर लिसनिंग। Over to Mahinder.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harry. You have explained in Hindi very nicely. So मैं इसमें एक दो चीज और ऐड करूंगा, जैसे कि उन्होंने बताया है कि ट्रैप 3-2-1 and 4-1-1 ट्रैप सिस्टम. सो ट्रैप डज नॉट मीन्स कि हमने कबूतर पकड़ना है. ट्रैपिंग का इसमें है कि द प्लेयर हु इज विद द बॉल, जिसके पास बॉल है, उसको इतने क्लोज से डिफेंसिव प्लेयर जाएगा और उसको फोर्स करेगा कि वो गलत पास करे. ट्रैप का मतलब है कि वी विल फोर्स द प्लेयर हु इज हैविंग द बॉल टू गिव ए रॉन्ग पास, देन वी इंटरसेप्ट द बॉल एंड गो फॉर काउंटर अटैक. कि उसका ट्रैप का और कोई मतलब नहीं है. ट्रैप का मतलब है एक्टिव डिफेंस. यू डू सम एक्शन. जो बॉल वाला प्लेयर है उसको फोर्स करना है. नियर बाय वाला जो प्लेयर है वो अपने प्लेयर को कवर करेगा. जब वो लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस पे बॉल को थ्रो करना चाहता है तो जो 1-2 सिचुएशन में है वो ट्रैप के लिए रेडी है कि जैसे ही वो रॉन्ग पास करता है प्रेशर के हिसाब से आप उसको इंटरसेप्ट करेंगे और आप उसको इंटरसेप्ट करके गोल के लिए जाएंगे. सो दूसरा उसने बोला है कि जो इफ यू विल गो अर्ली 70s, जैसे कि डिफेंस के 11 डिफेंसिव सिस्टम हैं, अटैक में 2 ही हैं, 3-3 और 2-4. सो उसमें 3-2-1 है, 5-1 है, 3-3 है, 6-0 है, 5-1 है, कंबाइंड डिफेंस है, मैन टू मैन है, सिंकिंग मैन टू मैन है, 4-1-1 है. सो देयर आर सो मेनी सिस्टम डिस्कवर्ड इन डिफेंस. वो इसलिए क्योंकि अटैक जो था वो बहुत हावी था. उनके पास बहुत जॉब शूटर थे, तो कोचेज ने, जो इंटेलिजेंट कोचेज थे अब्रॉड में, उन्होंने ये कहा कि इनको कैसे रोका जाए. सो दे प्लान्ड ऑन दैट. दे डिस्कवर्ड. आफ्टर दैट द डेवलपमेंट केम इन डिफेंस, नॉट इन अटैक. स्टिल टिल टुडे देयर आर 2 सिस्टम्स ओनली. पर क्या हुआ कि जब फेडरेशन ने, IHF ने सोचा कि यार अटैक का गोल नहीं हो रहा, कैसे किया जाए, तो उसमें क्या हुआ कि इन्होंने रूल चेंज कर दिए. अगर गोल नहीं हो रहा तो इन्होंने गोलकीपर को बाहर लेके 7th प्लेयर अंदर डाल दिया. पहले 7th प्लेयर जाता था, वो टी-शर्ट चेंज करता था, उसमें टाइम लग जाता था, फिर पैसिव प्ले हो जाता था. अब विद द सेम ड्रेस जो 7th प्लेयर है वो अंदर जा सकता है. ऑलवेज अ सिचुएशन विल बी 7-6, 7 अटैकर एंड 6 डिफेंडर. सो नंबर ऑफ गोल ज्यादा हो रहे हैं. दूसरा, उसने जो हमारी वोकैबुलरी है, जो हमारी प्रोनाउंसिएशन है, जो हमने जो बताया है, वो हम उसको रैपिड प्ले बोलते हैं. ये उसको क्विक थ्रो ऑफ बोलता है कि जैसे गोल हुआ आप सेंटर में बॉल को थ्रो करिए और स्टार्ट करिए. सो वो ज्यादा मुश्किल नहीं है जो वो बता रहा है. थोड़ा सा हमने अंडरस्टैंड करना है और उससे हम भी आपके साथ हैं. अगर आपको कोई डाउट होगा आप हमसे पूछ सकते हैं. नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट ED सर टू आस्क द कोचेस टू फॉर ए फीडबैक प्लीज. Please listen carefully, everyone.
Good afternoon, all coaches and participants. I think we are halfway now, और कुछ समय हमारे पास और है, तो आज हम आपको अनम्यूट करेंगे. देखते हैं कि अनम्यूट में अगर ज्यादा आवाज नहीं आएगी तो you can share your views about the feedback of the classes which is on. I know there will be different coaches with different experiences. We have young coaches also and coaches with lot of experience also. So you can just share the views that the way the classes were conducted, and if it is okay, should we continue with the same thing? If you require some modification, कुछ आपको changes चाहिए, उसके लिए भी आप जो है अपने 5-6 लोग अपनी राय दे सकते हैं, और बाकी जो है आप हमारे जो पैनलिस्ट हैं उनसे शेयर कर सकते हैं. तो हमारे पास अभी समय है 22 तारीख तक. कुछ चेंजेस आपको चाहिए तो वो हम उनसे रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं. वो पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट एंड टॉपिक जो है, जो सबके लिए जरूरत है, वो हम इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. तो आपको अभी हम अनम्यूट करते हैं सबको. और पहले तो सीनियर कोचेस, आप कोई भी 2-4 जो है आप अपना अगर हाथ रेज करें और आप बोलें तो बाकी सुनेंगे हम सबको, और अपने व्यूज दे सकते हैं. फीडबैक ऑफ व्हाट हैज हैपेंड एंड व्हाट वी वुड लाइक टू कंटिन्यू विद. हैरी सर प्लीज अनम्यूट कर दीजिए. You all are unmuted now.
सर को
बोल सकता है.
2 दिन का और खेला है.
जिसके बच्चे बोल रहे हैं वो अपना म्यूट कर सकता है अपने आप.
इसका मतलब क्या होता है? म्यूट करने को बोल रहा है.
म्यूट कर लीजिए, कोई बात नहीं. जो जिसके आसपास कोई और है। आशीष बैनर्जी साहब, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? हाँ बैनर्जी साहब, आप बोलिए, हम सब सुनते हैं। तो ये बताइए कि क्लासेस कैसे लगी? आपको सुन सकते हैं, आप बोलिए।
म्यूट करने का
सोच लीजिए अपने विश्वराजन साहब, डैश साहब हाथ उठा रहे हैं, वो बोलिए। डैश साहब आप बताइए।
ठीक है,
तो माइक के नजदीक आ जाइए। सबको हम देख सकते हैं। धर्मेंद्र कछवा साहब भी देख सकते हैं, अगर बोले तो कुछ बोल सकते हैं।
जा रहा है यार, कैसी गाड़ी है?
अमर सिंह साहब भी हैं।
सही है ना?
सर 3 पार्टिसिपेंट ने हाथ उठाए, जरा उनसे पूछ लें।
ठीक है,
मिस्टर दास,
हाँ जी सिंधु साहब, आप बोलना चाहे तो बोल सकते हैं।
सर मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ।
म्यूट कर
आपको
देना
आवाज नहीं आ रही तो आप सारे के सारे हाथ खड़ा कर सकते हैं।
पैदल चल रहा है।
करिए ना आवाज आपको। अच्छा हैरी सर इनको म्यूट, बाकी हम एक एक करके खोलते हैं। हैरी सर सबको म्यूट कर दीजिए, आई थिंक आवाज नहीं आ रही।
मिस्टर मुस्तफा,
मुस्तफा साहब ने तो एक बार पहले भी अपने कमेंट्स दिए थे।
सीनियर मोस्ट कोच सर फ्रॉम हैदराबाद सर।
हाँ चलो मुस्तफा साहब को अनम्यूट करो। मुस्तफा साहब आपको सुनना चाहेंगे आज। आशीष सर आप तैयार रहना, फिर नेक्स्ट आपसे बात करेंगे।
मिस्टर मुस्तफा,
हाँ जी, इस बारे में सर
सर
आपके फीडबैक के बारे में।
सर फीडबैक इस तरह है, the terminology he is using that is not used to in India, so
Okay,
there will be a little confusion. Those who have joined new coaches or those who are the trainees, so there must be little problem that has to be handled by the Mr. Mahinder, I think. One. The second one is he is specific to the topic only. Say for example, repeatedly I have asked, give the defensive solution when attacker is using screen. It is very important what skill of attacking tactics. Screen is used against the defense for every team. So that solution possibilities we must know. What are the other varieties against the screen by the defensive team? That I wanted to know. And one defense attacking principle he has given, that suddenly shift the attack towards the outnumbering situation where attacker are in much number. So that in the defense that has not been explained.
ठीक है महेंद्र साहब, इनको जैसे इनका स्पेसिफिक डाउट है रिगार्डिंग अ पर्टिकुलर मूव एंड रिगार्डिंग द पर्टिकुलर डिफेंस जो स्लाइड है, तो उसको अगली बार क्लॉज को बोलना व्हेन क्वेश्चन आंसर कम्स, तो ही विल एक्सप्लेन दिस। आई थिंक ही कैन डू दैट, वो कर सकता है वो।
यस सर।
और टर्मिनोलॉजी तो आप लोग को जो लास्ट में 15-20 मिनट मिलते हैं, इंपॉर्टेंट टर्मिनोलॉजी जो 10-15 नोट कर सकते हैं, तो अपने यंग कोचेस को आप बता सकते हैं।
मिस्टर मुस्तफा आल्सो अटेंडेड कोर्स इन 96 सर हियर।
कोई बात नहीं, फीडबैक है हमारे पास। आशीष जी को अनम्यूट करो प्लीज।
आशीष प्लीज, कितने नंबर दिया?
और कोई बोलना चाहे तो हाथ उठा सकता है, हम देख रहे हैं आपको।
मिस्टर दास।
हाँ आशीष जी अनम्यूट हो गए आप।
सर आशीष बनर्जी और मैं सर।
यस 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 आशीष बनर्जी।
हाँ वी कैन हियर यू।
हेलो।
हाँ आपको सुन सकते हैं।
सर थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग चांस सर। अभी तक सर मैंने अपने सीनियर कोचेस से बहुत कुछ सीखा था, लेकिन ये फर्स्ट टाइम है जो इतना लॉन्ग मैंने एक जर्मन कोच को, जो कि वर्ल्ड लेवल के कोच है, उनसे सुना है, उनको देख रहा हूँ। मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है सर। और जो स्पेशली डिफेंस के अंदर उन्होंने इतने सारे वेरिएशन बताए हैं, मुझे सिर्फ मंदर सर से अपनी चीजों से ही पूछना चाहता हूँ कि क्या सर जो उन्होंने दो डिफेंस बताया, आज का जो डिफेंस और मैन टू मैन डिफेंस, ये दोनों के प्री कंडीशंस बाकी डिफेंसिव सिस्टम से ज्यादा हायर, यानी मेरा मतलब कहने का ये है कि क्या इसमें हमें हायर लेवल ऑफ फिटनेस चाहिए?
यस यस डेफिनेटली, इसमें हमें कोऑर्डिनेशन चाहिए, इंटेलिजेंस चाहिए, जो वी कैन लर्न थ्रू द माइनर गेम्स more, because at the world level, if we will think, we need, he says this is a physical game, we need more height and weight nowadays, but it is not possible in India, but we have to develop the required ability. उसमें हमको कैसे कॉपरेट करना है, कैसे एंटीसिपेट करना है, कैसे हेल्प करना है, कैसे हमने डिफेंस में हेल्प साइड जाना है, गिव ओवर टेक ओवर करना है, उसके लिए बेसिक नॉलेज इज रिक्वायर्ड। क्योंकि इसके लिए क्या होता है कि अगर आप गिव ओवर टेक ओवर नहीं कर रहे, जिसको वो स्विच बोलता है, तो फिर हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है, कोऑपरेशन इन ए टीम, इन ए मैच वो नहीं रहती। जो कल उसने बताया था कि मिस्टेक्स कहाँ होती है, गोल कब होता है, जब हम इंडिविजुअली उसको कवर नहीं कर पाते और हमारा जो टीममेट है वो हमें कोऑपरेट नहीं करता। वी हैव टू डेवलप फिजिकल एबिलिटी एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग।
थैंक यू महेंद्र साहब। अपने किसी यंग कोच से बात करने का मौका मिले तो अगर आपको जो दिखता है किसी यंग कोच को अनम्यूट करें, और अगर वुमेन कोच है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, बिकॉज बहुत सारे गेम हमने वुमेन के देखे हैं।
अनूप मिस्टर अनूप।
यस सर।
रंजीत सिंह आपको भी बुलाएंगे।
मिस्टर अनूप।
हाँ, गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
हाँ बोलिए अनूप जी।
बोलिए।
हाँ, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। पहले तो आप लोगों ने इतना अच्छा हमें मौका दिया सब कुछ सीखने का। हैंडबॉल फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया और स्पोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया का हम धन्यवाद करते हैं, बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है। और महेंद्र सर और हरी सर और सीपी सर ये भी बहुत अच्छे से हिंदी में हमें एक्सप्लेन करते हैं बाद में। बस थोड़ी सी एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि जैसे आज उन्होंने जो डिफेंसिव सिस्टम बताया उसके लिए हमें कुछ स्पेसिफिक एक्सरसाइज भी मिल जाए, जैसे हम कैसे डेवलप करें हमारे ट्रेनिंग्स में ये सिस्टम को, तो वो अगर मिल जाए तो और बेटर हो सकता है सर।
उसने बीच बीच में कुछ ड्रिल्स दिखाई थी
सर,
आखिर में उसने कुछ ड्रिल्स दिखाई थी।
हाँ,
और अगर हम एक्सरसाइज पे जाएंगे तो हमारा टाइम जो है
नहीं सर,
हायर चीजें सीखने का कम हो जाएगा। तो आपने जो पॉइंट बोला है वो हम शायद उससे स्लाइड्स और प्रेजेंटेशन लेंगे और
हाँ,
हमारा जो पैनल है वो आपको पक्का ऐड कर देगा।
अब बहुत अच्छा क्लासेस चल रहा है सर, बहुत बढ़िया कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है सर हमें।
अपने रंजीत सिंह सैनी साहब को करो अनम्यूट।
ओके
हाथ
सर,
उठा रहे हैं।
ओके ओके ओके।
मिले आपको?
एक मिनट सर, जस्ट यस मिल गए सर, एक जस्ट। रंजीत सिंह, वेयर इज इट? रंजीत सिंह, हाय, जस्ट अ मिनट।
मिस्टर सैनी
और
सुन सकते?
नहीं हुए, अनम्यूट नहीं हुए
सर। यंग कोच गांधीनगर में भी ज्वाइन किया रिसेंटली,
मिस्टर तेजवीर।
हाँ तेजवीर, कोई बात नहीं, तेजवीर सर तो ले गए।
हाँ तेजवीर, मिस्टर तेजवीर।
आप सर्च में डालेंगे नाम तो अपने आप आ जाता है।
यस सर, अनम्यूट कर दिया सर तेजवीर।
तेजवीर जी आप बताइए अपने व्यूज।
पूजा कुमारी,
तेजवीर,
रविंद्र कौर, कैन यू हियर?
हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
हाँ मैडम आपको सुन सकते हैं, आप बोलिए। ओके मैडम आप बताइए।
सर बहुत अच्छा सेशन चल रहा है, डेली हम मतलब कुछ ना कुछ जानने के लिए मिल रहा है। जो भी हमने जितना भी हमने एनएस में सीखा था, जितना भी हम अभी ट्रेनिंग सेशन बच्चों के ले रहे थे, मतलब कुछ ना कुछ हमें रिकॉल हो रहा है। अभी सर बता रहे हैं, मतलब जर्मन कोच बता रहे हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें सीखने को मिल रही है, रिकॉल हो रहा है।
अच्छा मैडम, हमारे इंडिया को एशियन गेम्स में मेडल क्यों नहीं मिलता?
सर मैं जब भी मतलब हमें सब वीडियोस वगैरह देखते हैं, मैं भी बात करती हूँ कि हमारी मतलब जो भी टीम है, हमें इंडिया में जब जाते हैं, इंडिया की टीम रिप्रेजेंट करती है, मतलब हमारे जो मतलब परफॉर्मेंस है वो बहुत डिक्रीज हो जाती है, बहुत लो आती है वहाँ पे। क्योंकि मैं देख रही थी जैसे सर ड्रिल्स दिखा रहे थे, जैसे आज उन्होंने स्पेसिफिक ड्रिल्स दिखाई है ना, लेकिन हम सोचते हैं कि हम वो ट्रेनिंग के सेशन में हम वो एड ऑन नहीं करते, हम सिर्फ मैच में पूरा ध्यान रखते हैं, ट्रेनिंग के सेशन में एड ऑन नहीं करते।
चलो बहुत अच्छी बात है, आपने एक पॉइंट उठाया कि हमारी ड्रिल्स और हमारा जो है ग्राउंड वर्क जो रिस्पेक्टिव सेंटर्स में होना चाहिए वो नहीं हो रहा।
सर ये लड़की एशियन चैंपियनशिप खेल के आई है, इससे पूछना।
चलो आगे, थैंक यू किसी और से बात कराइए। चलो कोई बात नहीं, आई विल नॉट, आज जो है मौका मिला है, छुट्टी मिली है, इन सबको म्यूट कर दीजिए। मैं एज ए एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर इन सबसे बात करना चाहूंगा।
सर नो भी करना मैंने ना कर दे
एंड आई जस्ट टेक 2-3 मिनट्स। एंड ये मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, और मैं यहाँ पे एज एन अपॉइंटमेंट एंड व्हेन आई गॉट अ टाइम टू इंटरेक्ट विद माय कोचेस हियर, जो हमारे पास पैनलिस्ट हैं, ऑल एक्सपीरियंस कोचेस, तो मुझे लगा कि हम कुछ कर सकते हैं। और अब जैसे मैंने देखा कि 200 पार्टिसिपेंट से 123 ही बचे हैं, तो वो वही लोग बचे हैं जो हु लिव हैंडबॉल, हु ब्रीथ हैंडबॉल, ठीक है, तो उन्हीं का वही रुकता है। जिसको हैंडबॉल से इंटरेस्ट नहीं है वो छोड़ के चले गए। सो आई थिंक इट्स वेरी गुड टू डिस्कस एंड गिव माय व्यूज टू यू। हैंडबॉल एक ऐसा स्पोर्ट्स है जहां पे इंडिया बहुत अच्छा कर सकता है।
सर एक डिप्टी डायरेक्टर आए थे मास्टर भंडारकर, वो भी सुन रहे थे, औरंगाबाद वाले।
हाँ
if you want to say, मिस्टर भंडारकर,
कोई बात नहीं, हम अपनी बात करते थे, भंडारकर को बुला लेंगे।
जी सर।
हैंडबॉल ने काफी उतार और चढ़ाव देखे हैं 1980 ऑनवर्ड्स, और बहुत अच्छा किया है हैंडबॉल ने। आप जितने सीनियर कोचेस हैं उन्हें मालूम है कि हैंडबॉल एक नया स्पोर्ट्स आके उसने अपनी जगह बनाई पुराने स्पोर्ट्स के बीच में, और काफी छोटी कंट्रीज ने भी जो है बड़ा अच्छा रिजल्ट लिया और बड़ी कंट्रीज को चैलेंज किया। जैसे कि वो आज हमारे सामने वो जर्मन कोच बोल रहे थे कि उनके पास तो खिलाड़ी नहीं मिलते। ये बहुत बड़ा फैक्ट है कि उनके पास सिर्फ 10 खिलाड़ी मिलते हैं खेलने के लिए हैंडबॉल। हमारे पास 10 नहीं है, हमारे पास 1000 मिलते हैं। तो एक बहुत बड़ी एडवांटेज है एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, मैं आप शेयर करना चाहता हूं कि सबसे बड़ी ताकत हमारी है हमारी पॉपुलेशन, और बहुत सारे खिलाड़ी हमें मिलते हैं। उसके बाद में ये जो गेम है इसमें ज्यादा टेक्निकलिटी नहीं है। दूसरे गेम में आपको एक बॉल भी मिलेगी, हॉकी स्टिक भी मिलेगी, बैट भी मिलेगा, बास्केटबॉल जैसे में कोई रिंग भी होगा, छोटा हो जाएगा, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं। यहाँ पे जो है इतना वेरिएशन नहीं है, तो इम्प्रूवमेंट और चैलेंज करना किसी भी टीम को बहुत आसान है। जो क्वालिटीज इस कोच ने डिस्क्राइब की है, जो आप लोगों ने कई सालों से आपने प्रैक्टिस की है, उसको अमल में लाया है, मुझे लगता है कि हैंडबॉल जो है बहुत कुछ हमें अपने देश को दे सकता है, और हर फील्ड के अंदर जो है मेडल दे सकता है। बस थोड़ा सा आप लोगों ने हर लेवल पे, ग्राउंड लेवल पे सिलेक्शन से लेके ग्रासरूट्स लेवल से लेके फाइनल जो है, जब अपनी इंडियन टीम आती है, जो उसका कैंप लगता है, उसको ये सारी चीज अमल में लाए, तो ये छोटे मोटे कंट्री जो कटार और ये पता नहीं क्या क्या मैं देखता हूँ, ईरान वगैरह मेडल ले जाते हैं हमसे, और हम लोग जो है केपेबल होने के बावजूद नहीं ले पाते। तो मैं चाहूंगा कि आप लोग जो है ग्राउंड पे मेहनत करें। आप लोग लकी हैं कि आप लोग इतने सारे लोग हैं, इतने सिंसियर लोग हैं। आपका फेडरेशन जो है इफेक्टिव है। कई गेमों में 3-4 फेडरेशन घूम रहे हैं, कोचेस की सुनते नहीं है। तो आप लोग एडवांटेजेस हैं कि आप लोग का फेडरेशन जो है इफेक्टिव है, ऐसी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। रूटीन में आपके जो है आपके स्कूल गेम्स, नेशनल गेम्स होते हैं। इस गेम को हमने प्रायोरिटी गेम में लाना है। बहुत सारे गेम जो है नेशनल लेवल पे प्रायोरिटी गेम में आ चुके हैं। आप मेडल दोगे, आप मेहनत करोगे, डेफिनेटली मोर फंडिंग और मोर जो है सपोर्ट गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से भी मिल सकता है, जो मैं यहाँ एज ए एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर बात कर रहा हूँ। तो इसको आप लोगों की मेहनत से इस गेम को उस लेवल तक लेके आना कि एशिया में मेडल तो आपका होना ही चाहिए, और फिर वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप, वर्ल्ड कप में भी जो है कोई बड़ा गैप नहीं है। आपका गैप जो है डिपेंडिंग ऑन क्वालिटी एंड स्टैंडर्ड जो है आप 2-4 साल में इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं और वहां पहुंच सकते हैं। ये मेरे व्यूज हैं, क्योंकि बहुत सारे गेम देखते हैं और आपका डेडिकेशन और आपका जो आपकी मेहनत है वो 100% जो है इन चीजों को ला सकती है। तो मेरा तो ये व्यूज थे, और मैं चाहूंगा कि जो भी रिकमेंडेशन आएंगे आप हैरी सर से और महेंद्र सर से, सीपी सर से आप मेल कर दीजिए। आने वाले कुछ 10 दिनों में जो भी चेंजेस, जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें आपको चाहिए हर लेवल के कोचेस के लिए, चाहे वो ग्रास रूट लेवल में है चाहे नेशनल लेवल पे है, उनको हम चाहेंगे मिस्टर क्लॉज जो है क्लैरिफाई करें। थैंक यू सो मच एंड ऑल द बेस्ट।
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspirational speech. Thank you very much, sir. नहीं हाँ हाँ
ओके, मैं थोड़ा इसमें ऐड करना चाहता हूँ आशीष बनर्जी ये टूर में क्लासिफिकेशन
देखी
since it is team tactics, मतलब कोई भी team tactics team practice basically in English, we forget the basic that individual KPS number player. हम कोई भी बात कर रहे हैं ये कहते हैं कि कोई कॉम्बिनेशन कोई यू या ये ऐसी टीम टैक्टिक्स है जिससे टीम वर्क है, इंडिविजुअल प्लेयर्स जो है ऐसे भी अगर उसमें एक ही प्लेयर एक नीड का वीक है तो चेन आपकी काम नहीं होगी। तो उसकी जो बेसिक कंडीशन है उसमें आपका टेक्निकल लेवल ऑफ प्लेयर, बेसिक टेक्निक्स, उसका फिजिकल रिलेटेड बिकॉज इससे टाइम फिजिकल डिमांडिंग एक्टिविटी पोजीशन जिसमें भी एक कंडीशन जिसमें होता है। Second, another point that psychological abilities of players. This counts. ये training elements, ये training elements. So
Thank you very much, sir. Everyone, we are now going to end the meeting. So see you tomorrow at 11:30. Thank you, one and all. Good day.